we have some special guests. First and foremost, I want to welcome and introduce to you the chairman of the Library Board of Trustees, Jim Seltzer, who has done an incredible amount of work, particularly lately, with helping the library meet its challenges. As you all know, we're facing some additional challenges. He'll touch on that a little bit, but then also share with you why it's so important to celebrate this week. And he will introduce our special guest, Councilman Dick Brown. So let me start by turning it over to Jim for a few remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. What a great poster. What do you love about your library? Well, in Jacksonville last year, over 5.5 million people loved our library enough to walk through its doors and check out over 9 million separate items. So people in Jacksonville do love their libraries. You know, there's a sort of a factoid. Every 1.5 seconds, if you divide the library day into a total 24-hour calendar, every 1.5 seconds, someone comes into our libraries. It's a phenomenal usage number. But one of the other things we want to celebrate, besides the patrons coming in, is the great staff that we've got. You know, it's not just the buildings, it's not just the collection, it's the people who serve the public, and how proud we are of the Jacksonville Public Library employees, the librarians, our staff, and our leadership. So we're very happy to be celebrating National Library Week. We're always pleased to celebrate National Library Day in Jacksonville. I also want to thank Councilman Dick Brown for coming here today. Dick is an ex officio member of our board, has been struggling along with the board and the citizens of Jacksonville, trying to care for how to maintain this enormous prize that we have, this prize-winning library system, in a time of very, very significant financial stresses inside the city. On the one hand, and I mean this sincerely, I'm very appreciative of the work that the mayor has done in trying to get in front of the citizens of Jacksonville the issues that our city, the challenges that we have. On the other hand, we have been asked to submit a budget that's going to reduce this coming year's financial commitment to the library by about $6 million. That is a very, very severe cut. And the point I'd like to make to the citizens of Jacksonville, as well as to ourselves here, is that we're going to manage these cuts in a way that when money is restored, God willing, that we'll be able to march these cuts backward. Because if we go beyond where we are right now, we'll begin the dismantling of a magnificent system that, again, is serving the citizens of Jacksonville. You know, one interesting fact about the Jacksonville Public Libraries, 3 times as many people come into the Jacksonville Public Libraries every year as attend sporting events. Now, you can't believe that, but it's the fact. 3 times as many people coming inside our libraries as attend sporting events here in Jacksonville. So I'm here today to thank you for your efforts, to thank the citizens of Jacksonville for their support, and particularly to thank Councilman Brown for being here. And Councilman, I'd like for you to step forward, if you will, and say a few words.
Jim, it is a pleasure to be here and to join you in recognizing the importance of our library system here in Jacksonville. I was given a few little interesting points about the system that, not to overdo the numbers, but it's amazing, and we all need to remind ourselves of it. More than 12,000 people receive job training and placement services working through the WorkSource organization and the library as they cooperate to help people find jobs using the system for research and just so many more things go on here that a lot of us don't know or we forget about. But 2 out of every 3 people in the county have library cards, and they borrowed 9 million items last year. And here's an interesting number. If folks had to go out and purchase the information that they received, the books, the tapes, the discs, whatever it would have cost them $100 million. That's money in their pockets just being able to use a library system that you folks have done such a good job in organizing and keeping up and keeping running the whole time. Another interesting thing is for every dollar spent to support the library system in terms of taxes, it gives back the community through studies we've determined over $4 a return on that investment. And for that reason, and there's so many more, and one ad lib I'd like to add, Jim, is I have sat in on meetings while the library board and staff are working together to prepare for budget cuts. Budget cuts are a way of life right now and tough on everyone. And the thought of reducing services does trouble professionals and volunteers who are involved with the system. I'm amazed at what they've been able to do to try to be ready for the reductions and yet move forward, expanding technology and carefully measuring what they can do to reduce the budget while still providing excellent service. And Jim, you folks are certainly to be congratulated for that, because that is a tough job, and the approach to it is with a surprisingly good attitude. Because I mean, everybody gets frustrated, but as a city council member, I see and hear from organizations, very worthwhile organizations all over our community, that are hoping they will be spared, or at least to some degree spared, so they can keep up the dedication of the services they provide. In many cases, the cuts will be severe, and I think $6 million is pretty severe, but you folks are making their plans ahead instead of just allowing it to become a crisis. With all of this in mind, and hoping to, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but we all recognize and really appreciate the system, the staff, the board members who work so hard, the volunteers who have the book sales. All of that goes into making a great system. But to make this official, I have to present the resolution recognizing Library Week for our system here. And this is a resolution recognizing the week of April 10 through 16, 2011 as National Library Week, and urging all residents to visit and utilize their local library. Whereas for 105 years, the Jacksonville Public Library has provided free access to all, from books and online services for families and students to business research that helps support entrepreneurship, retraining, and whereas the library use in Jacksonville is at an all-time high, with more than 5 million people visiting the Jacksonville Public Library locations last year, checking out materials for more than 9 million times. Whereas librarians are trained professionals helping people of all ages and backgrounds find and interpret the information they need to live, learn, and work in a challenging economy. And whereas in times of economic hardship, Americans turn to and depend on their libraries and librarians. And whereas libraries are helping job seekers get back to work, providing access to job openings, resume assistance, and online services. And whereas libraries are places of opportunity, providing programs that teach all forms of literacy, promoting continuing education, and encouraging lifelong learning. And whereas, only a couple more whereas, and whereas libraries provide an exceptional return on investment, returning $4 to Jacksonville for every dollar invested. And whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters in Jacksonville and across America are celebrating National Library Week in April, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Jacksonville. The City of Jacksonville hereby recognizes the week of April 10 through 16, 2011 as National Library Week, and encourages all residents to visit their public library that week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available here. This was adopted by the City Council March the 24th of this year and signed by Council President Jack Webb and the Council Secretary Cheryl Brown, which makes it all official. And Jim, if you will step up so I can make it official by presenting it to you.
I'm just gonna have you all do a picture of that.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks again. Let me close again with just a couple words. First of all, I know that this is very, very trying and challenging times for the Jacksonville Public Library family. Okay, you know, this is encourage. We have strong supporters in the city, in the city council, in the mayor's office. We hope to convince the citizens of Jacksonville that this jewel that you've built over the years is worth fighting for. And I can assure you that as the chairman of your board, I will do everything I can to protect the interests of the citizens of Jacksonville, our employees. And thank you again for being with us today. Thank you.